Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and welcome to Show and Tell number 174. So this has been a bit of a week. A lot of stuff going on, lots of little stuff, nothing like earth-shattering or anything like that. Just lots and lots of little things. So I had attempted to film this before and realized I kind of sounded like an idiot talking. Not that that doesn't happen normally, but I kind of went off on a side tangent, stopped halfway through and was like, we'll make this another video. Realizing I was getting too far into detail of things that didn't need to be gotten into. So Saturday's video will actually be discussing my stash and what I'd like to see happen with my stash and stash goals. And I have decided to go ahead and do a low buy this year. And I will talk more about like what that really means in that video. But basically I'm doing the same thing I did a couple years ago, where for every 100 grams of yarn I use, I get $1 towards purchasing yarn that is stashable. So that doesn't count against active WIPs. That doesn't count against projects I'm in the middle of making, planning on making, starting to make, have part of, ready to go, or anything pertaining to like reviews here on the channel and stuff like that. There are a lot of pictures. You get to see a lot of things you really haven't seen. Like you get to see like corners of my stash in videos, but this is laying it all out. This is all out in the open, no hiding, no holds barred, sharing what I'd like to see happen by the end of the year. And these are like way up here goals, and I'll probably make it to like here, but that's fine. That's fine. Once again, as I say with making my annual goals, these aren't must-dos. These are would-be nice-to-dos. With the exception of the low-buy thing. That I'm sticking to because Carrie needs to low-buy it. So, anyway. It is actually Thursday once again. I had this filmed on Tuesday. It's what I get for not checking my editing, doing my editing when I film in advance. So now I'm stuck filming today, which is fine. It's fine. We're still early, still working on my coffee here. I went on my walk. We did 4.5 miles this morning, which I need to make note of in my journal. It's been fun. It's chilly, but not freezing. We had thunderstorms all day yesterday. It was awful. I mean, it was like you couldn't see off my back porch. It was just white out rain conditions on and off all day. Anyway, what do I have in my basket of goodies? So I'm not sure if I shared this last week or not, but I did get an Addy I-cord maker, or the Addy egg as people keep calling it. I ordered this at the same time I ordered the Addy King. I do believe I might go ahead and order the regular Addy knitting machine as well. The smaller one. I may have a problem. But it's a good problem. And it's a good problem for me to have. So I'm okay with it. I am learning how to use my Addy King. That's what a lot of the last 2 weeks has really been dedicated to. There has been a lot of crafting going on, a lot of making going on. I'm very excited. I have a lot of finished objects actually in my basket and a lot to share for next week that will be done in time for next week's video. So I have a feeling at least the first half of this year, we will have a lot of FOs in our videos, which means lots of numbers going down in the book this year and lots of things to donate at the end of the year. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. I'm looking forward to seeing what ends up getting made and what ends up getting used out of my stash and how they get used. Hi, Banammer. What you doing, Bannerman? He literally like walked up to the door and was like, hey, what you doing? And then like hopped off. He's doing better. His knee is definitely doing a little bit better. They have been playing a little bit more aggressively the last couple of days, which makes me super nervous. But he does seem to be handling it fairly well. So, all right. So definitely check out Saturday's video. It will also kind of play into like crafty chat. I may actually put it in the crafty chat category in my playlist. If you're new to this channel, I do have subscription box unboxings. I've done yarn reviews, and I do have playlists with all those. All of these show and tells go into their own folder as well. So if you're interested in seeing what other projects have come through here. This is a pattern by Katie and the Squid. I do not remember the name of it. And this is using 3 different yarns. I think one was a Knit Picks. One is like from Nanette Wakefield Designs. I think this is a Nanette Wakefield yarn. And I think this was a Knit Picks yarn. So I'm not sure where my beautiful broken purple came from anymore. I've got it in a notebook. I've got it in a journal. But this is a full length scarf on the bias. I definitely want to make more of these this year. I love this scarf. I do not wear it as often as I ought to as a decorative piece because I think of it as a cold weather piece, but it is so pretty. It is so pretty. So I definitely want to get more casual wear out of it. Anyway, what is in my basket of goodies? We've talked about the Addy egg. I do think I'm going to go ahead and get the standard Addy knitting machine. I've got lots of things cranking out on the King. So what did I do? Well, first off, I decided to figure out how to use my machine. So let's start here. Let's start with this. So the first thing I cranked out on my Addy King was this hat here. And this is using Electricana from Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn. It is one of my all-time favorite obnoxious yarns. This set is for me and me alone. A, it's the first thing I cranked out on the machine, so of course it's for me. B, I absolutely love this colorway. If you guys remember, a year ago, 2 years ago now, I made the campfire cardigan using this yarn, and it was one of those I need this yarn to make this project instantly kind of thing. So this is a hat. It is a double-sided hat that just happens to look identical on both sides. It's just the way the yarn pulled up. I had no control over what the yarn did. So we have our hat. And then we have, I have not woven in the last end over here for some reason, but we have a full-length scarf. And this scarf is 6 feet. Well, probably 6.5 feet long. So it will definitely keep my neck very, very warm. I did use, so for the hat, I just did a cinch top on both ends. I'll just set this here. On this, I tried doing, I did not do this. I did a sewed ending on this. Then on this side, yeah. So these are testers. So this was from testing. This edge I tried to sew shut, which I mean it effectively got sewn shut, and that's why that doesn't have a tail. This side I did a crocheted closure, which I like a lot more, and we'll see a lot more of that coming up. But I have not woven in my final end on that. Other than that, this whole set is finished, and it's mine, 100% all mine. I'm very excited about my obnoxious set. Very, very excited. So next, I came down here and I kind of wanted to do a study of different techniques. So that's exactly what I did. I wanted to play with tension. I wanted to play with techniques. I wanted to experiment. So I found a yarn that I had in abundance in my stash that I knew would work pretty well on the Addy. And it was a highly recommended yarn, just like the I Love This yarn, for beginners to try to use. So it's not fidgety. So this is using Vanna's Choice from Lion Brand and Autumn Prints. And if you look back at previous videos when I was up against the yarn wall, so like 2 years previous to like 2 videos ago, you will see over my left hand side a lot of times there was this yarn. If you've been with me for a while, you will remember I bought this yarn to make my mom a blanket. But at the time, it was when Lion Brand was doing the $1 skeins, but you had to buy the whole case. So I ended up with a lot of leftovers from that. So I decided my first experiment in just running through things and playing with things would be using that yarn. Many of these things will be donated. One set will, however, go to my mother. So we have a lot that came out of this. I made my first ear warmer. Now, I've made these by hand, knitting these by hand, so I was already very familiar with this type of a closure. This is where you take your ends, you make C's, lock them together, and sew them shut. So this is a very, very basic ear warmer. This is actually one of the reasons why I'm thinking about going ahead and getting the standard Addy, not just the King. I do like the big ear warmer. Obviously, it's pretty big on my head, but it's very warm. It's very snuggly. I don't always want to wear a hat, so something like that would be perfect for me. But I do know most people would probably prefer something a little bit more slender. So we have an ear warmer. There are some ends left to be woven in and all this, so like, please forgive me. We have this hat and this scarf. These were playing with tension. So, and also I used a different closure on my hat. This is a box closure, and some other people call this an X closure. If I remember, I will pull up a tutorial and leave it linked in the description box down below. If not, look for X closure hats and you'll find, just search in YouTube. It's a very, very simple closure. It does, however, make it to where your hat's not entirely reversible. This is where your closure is done. And you can tell why I chose, for some reason my yarn blipped and we ended up with pooling instead of striping, this artificial striping pattern, which falls under like micro striping kind of things. Because the color changes are actually only about that long. They just created stripes in the way they stacked. Anyway, this was a slightly tighter tension hat versus the next one I did, which is a looser tension. And all I did, these are the exact same number of rows. All I did was change the tension that the yarn was under. And it made a massive, massive difference in the size of the hats, the feel of the hats. I would say this is a small adult, maybe teenage size hat, whereas this one has a lot more give and it's an adult size hat, definitely. So with my tighter tension, I did make a tighter scarf. I also mastered the crochet closure, which was very nice. So this one is slightly shorter than the one I made for myself, which is good, but we still have, you know, as this stretches and weighs out, it's still going to be about 6 feet, which is more what I was aiming for. And I think the headband with the scarf is probably what's going to go to my mom. But we do have like some weird shifting here still, but that is, you know, in the back, so it's not quite as obvious. But I knew that was going to happen. This is part of why I wanted to use this yarn as an experiment yarn, and I wanted to test and play with it and see what it would do. So this is tighter tension on the scarf. And then this is the loose tension scarf. So we ended up with this really cool, almost wider stripe pattern with some random pulling in the center going down to the other end. So it did some weird things. This yarn did some really, really weird things. I kind of dig it. And once again, this is another, you know, right at about 6 foot scarf. Much, much looser tension though. So you can really see the difference in how tensioning your yarn, even using a knitting machine, can create massive differences in how your finished object ends up looking. So I tell people constantly, there's no right or wrong way to do things as long as you are consistent in what you're doing. So if you're doing it wrong, consistently do it wrong for your whole project. That way it looks like a design element, not you did it wrong. Up next, we have 2 neck warmers. These are kid-size neck warmers. I did use the crochet bind off on these. I have since seen a couple of sewn bind off options. These are tensioned a little bit differently. This is a little bit looser. This is a little bit tighter. But we have enough stretch in the edge where this is perfectly fine for kids, especially like those this one, it will be great for like those gangly teenage boys that have the really long necks still. I've had quite a few of those through our family, but we do have 2 cowl neck warmers. So we have 2 hats, 2 scarves, an ear warmer, 2 cowls, I'll make sure I've got this right. We have 2 cowls, 2 scarves, 2 hats, and an ear warmer. Yeah. All made using the autumn prints. Now I had 2 dye lots that got mixed up together. For the blanket, it didn't make a big deal. For this, it did. So some of these do have slightly different dye lots, which would also kind of affect how some of the patterning showed up. But I did make sure to use the same dye lot for the hats and for a whole project. So while they don't look different to wear like a hat and a scarf together, in the same project, they would have ended up looking different. So got that done. Then as I was working through those, oh, here's the other hat. This is the cinch hat. I was like, I thought I had 3 hats because I needed 4 neck warmers and 4 hats. This was just a basic cinch hat, and this was on the tightest possible tension. So this is probably a kid's medium, but could go all the way, you know, from small to small, maybe. Kids small to a maybe small teen, small adult. Anyway, 4 hats, 4 scarves. I'm very pleased with that. That's a lot to accomplish learning a new thing, plus the set I did for myself. So after that, I took my scraps and I did some 10 by 10 corner to corner squares, wove in the ends, got those all nice and pretty and ready to go into my scrap gan. So we have 4 more squares for my small worsted weight corner to corner. These are 10 rows, worsted weight yarn. All of these have been done in acrylic with a size I crochet hook. I do have a tutorial up on the channel now for my basic tight corner to corner. So you guys can go check that out. I will try to leave it in the description box or put an iCard up. If I don't, I don't. If I do, I do. It is what it is at this point. We also had a full scrap using the Electricana. And then over the course of the week, I did get some DK weight squares done as well. So these are using 2 DK weight yarns held together using a size J hook, and these are 14 rows in size. So we have these nice marl stripey squares going on here. This is going to be a bedspread blanket. So I did start putting this together. I have 1 1/4 rows put on. I think I may actually only need either 72 or 80 squares, not 90. And I'm at like, I think these make like 56. So I'm getting very close. I did want to go ahead and start putting it together just so I knew exactly how many squares I needed once I started getting that space for the border and how these are joined. These are being joined using my corner to corner join tutorial that I have also shared on this channel November 2022. So very, very excited about that. So that is all I got accomplished. And to me, that's a lot. Like, I feel like I got a lot done. I'm not at all upset or concerned that that's all I got done, because that's a lot. That ended up, I put it in my journal as the Autumn Prince experiment with the Addie King. And it was over 1,000 grams of yarn. So that's a lot. That's a lot of yarn that I went through this week. So I am very excited about that. And it aligns with my goals. I have hats and scarves to donate. I have hats and scarves that I've made. And we made some room on the yarn wall, which plays into Saturday's video once again. I did really quickly want to share with you guys a purchase I made before I decided to do the low buy. And this is from, oops. Apparently I got my thing hooked on my thing. Hold on there. Whee! Here we go. I was just going to get in the way and I was going to end up knocking my camera stand, and I still ended up having to move you guys around. So I made this purchase before I decided to do a low buy this year, and B, these are perfect things to be prizes for being good on my low buy. I haven't decided what my first markers are going to be, but this will actually work out perfectly. Number one, well, Webs was having a sale on Koiju yarn, so, but I thought this was adorable. This is a Pink Can Mini. I loved the colors that went into this. I thought that was adorable. So this is Before the Stars is this color set. That was a weird sound. Ooh. Ah, fuzzy. What happened? There we go. Woo! Up next, I got this. So this is the Festive Mini Set. And I actually think I'm going to use this potentially as my Advent for this year. So this will be something I hold on to. This is not, I'm not going to count this. This is something I would have potentially bought for myself at Christmas. If I've already got it purchased and ready to go, then I can start thinking what I want to make with it. And I will mix these up, put them in bags, hide them for myself. I will forget about these. So this is the set Virtual Space. And this, I believe, yeah, this came with a free pattern. It's Leaf Peeping Cowl. So I think this might be, if I can, when I hit 25% of my annual goals, I don't know, we'll make a marker that I get this as a prize. So we're just going to use these as prizes for myself. And what a cute little prize. Up next, I did get a skein of Dream in Color Smooshy on the cashmere sock. And this is the colorway Loose Gems, which I just fell in love with that. I thought that was absolutely gorgeous. This also came with a free pattern. And the free pattern for this was Cerebella, which I believe is another, I believe both of these were cowls. But absolutely stunning yarn. I believe this was also on some sort of deal. And then on top of that, with the Koiju order, I got a free tote bag. So I really like the shape on this. I don't know why. I'm not generally a huge fan of shallow bags, but for some reason, the over wide shallow bag is working with this. It also happens to be the perfect size to hold my purchase. I don't know. Anyway, I did want to share that I do have an acquisition. One is for Advent 2023. I will be saving that back. I'm not sure if I'm going to go ahead and let myself have this yarn or if I'm going to use it as a reward down the road. But the paint can, I will definitely use as a reward for myself if I continue to do well. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get rid of it if I don't. So at the end of the year, I'll still get it. But I will set some artificial goal to where I can use that as part of that. Anyway, the paint can was $28.50. The Festive Mini Skein set was $140. The Dreaming Colors was $25.50. And all that qualified. Oh, I made a large enough purchase that I got the 25% off for making a large purchase. So that's what. Anyway. Christmas is already, my Christmas is already coming into focus. Advent 2023 and Vlogmas 2023 are coming into focus. I do have something for Vlogmas in July already in focus. So I feel like I'm doing really well at like hopefully generating content that is fun to watch and interesting to watch, but also things that are fun for me to do and fun for me to participate in. So that's where we are. This is a longer video than usual because once again, I just went off on the yammering. So definitely check out Saturday's video. It is another video that I ended up refilming after I filmed the original. And it's, as I say in that, I just got overwhelmed in the conversation. So while I'm not ever going to be a truly concise person when I speak, I was at least able to not look like a terrified rabbit in the video. But definitely check it out. It does not change anything I've said in my previous stashing videos. It's just how I want to approach my stash for this year. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful, fantastic day. As always, I love you. I will see you guys real soon. Hopefully at the end of this, we will have some pet tax, but we are running low or long in time. So I might just save the pictures for next week. Take care, and I will see you soon, guys.